Hey everyone, it's your girl Brittany here, and welcome to Brit Positive Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope everyone is having a great, positive day. To keep up with us here, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can listen to us on YouTube and Podbean. Now, if you are listening to us on YouTube, then click that subscribe button and notification bell as well to get notified to see when we have posted. And if you are listening to us on Podbean, then you can click that follow button and join the Brit Positive Fam Bam and download this podcast so you can listen to it on the go. Now, we have our Brit Positive quote of the day, which is, remain calm in every situation because peace equals power. That is by Joyce Myers. And I believe peace is the greatest thing to have in this time, just because in the midst of these storm, in the midst of this whole coronavirus thing, peace is one thing that if we all hang on to that, we'll be able to make the best of the situation. And of course, look at the bright side of the situation, and not that we're ignoring the bad, but to help us get through it, it's better to have a calm mind than a frazzled mind. Am I right? Now, with that said, I would like to make a little announcement with you guys here that are tuning in. Whew, I'm excited. So you clearly can see this is our 10th podcast together, and I just believe this is very special. But, with everything that has been happening since I started this thing, it's just such a blessing to be able to still be doing it. And now that with this whole corona thing, it's just craziness. But at the same time, I just felt very inspired to not only just, do this podcast, but also reach out to you guys in some way of just like having that unity form with not just me, but with you guys, like us getting connected through this podcast, knowing that we're all looking for the positive together. So I'd like to announce that we are having, because this is a we thing, we're doing this together. And based on the support you guys have been doing and giving me to continue this podcast, this is just my way of thanking you. We have our Brit Positive merch. Woo! I am so excited. Can't wait for you guys to see them. The link is right there below. Click on it. See what you like. Purchase, because when you're purchasing, you are making a vow. You are, you're making that statement that you are going to look for the positive in every day you got, because, every day is a gift. And you're also making that choice of believing better is coming, no matter what circumstances you are in. And, we shall overcome these obstacles that come our way. So when you purchase this, that's the statement. That's the promise you're making, not with everyone, but for yourself, to continue to push through the hard times and know that better times are coming. And when you guys get these shirts, have as a hashtag, Brit Positive merch. I want to see you in them. I want to see you making your good looking poses in them, because I believe they are so cool. And more so, it's just for you guys to continue being positive for yourselves and have that reminder with you at all times. So I'm really excited about these outfits there. So if you check on the link below, you can check out the website and purchase anything you like, and we'll get it to you guys soon. And I'm just very excited for this, and I'm so glad to get to do this. And especially around this time, like I said, it is definitely something as my gift to you guys, as an encourager to keep with you, just so that, in all situations, there's always a positive in it. So when you wear these, you will definitely be feeling that, okay? Now let's get into our topic of the day. Our topic of the day is things to do while self-isolating. So with everything that's going on, more and more people are having to self-isolate due to the coronavirus, which has been on the news every single minute, every single second of the day. And, I just came up with a few tips and suggestions that you guys can try while self-isolating. Now, I'm not doing this alone. I do have a few guest co-hosts coming on the show today from via phone. So they can share also their ideas and their experience and what they've been going through with self-isolating. And we are just this is just to show that we're all in this together, guys. So I'm not doing this alone. I don't know it all. I might learn something from my guest co-host today. So just like you guys. So we're just doing this together because I believe together we can get through anything. So let's get into it, shall we? Okie doke. So our first suggestion here is Netflix shows and movies. So during this time, I believe that maybe the first week or so, I think just to kind of like get myself out of my head. I watched a couple of Netflix shows and some movies out there, taking a break from the news and just kind of watching something where you're not thinking about the current situation. It's like you need a break from that stress for a minute. These were a couple of the shows that I watched that, kind of helped bring that good positive mood out of me. Now, I don't know if any of you guys are Brooklyn Nine-Nine lovers, because I for sure am. And this is my show. It just keeps me laughing, and the whole thing, the whole show is such a fun. It's a hoot. So I've been rewatching some old episodes on Netflix with that one, and I've been keeping up with the new episodes that come out every Thursday. So if you guys never watched it, I suggest you should. It's nice. It's funny. It's comedy. And also it's a crazy cool show. The next one I'll be watching on Netflix is 100 Humans, and this one is about 100 people from a diverse backgrounds participate in experiments exploring age and sex, happiness, and other aspects of being a human. So if you're into that and, looking at how people are testing humans on these different questions that we have about humans, check out the show. It's actually very interesting. It's into like research, and you just see how these participants act due to certain situations and questions we may have. They look into it. So I found that very interesting, and if anything, kind of helped me reevaluate things that I do as a human through this show. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave any comments down below and let me know what you think of the show too. And the next one I've been watching as well, I haven't finished this one, but it's On My Block season 3. I've watched all of the seasons before. This is the new season that just released, and I haven't finished watching it. And it's not so bad, if you're interested into this. It's a cool, fun little show. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I was not too impressed with the season 3. So that's just me being honest. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say go watch it, it's great, and then it's like you guys are like, this was horrible. So I am giving you a fair warning. I wasn't too impressed with season 3, but please let me know if you're already watching On My Block. Let me know what you think of the show, because I don't mind listening to other people's views on it. Maybe there's something they noticed that I didn't notice. And movies I've watched so far, well, I've watched this one called The Fifth Wave. It's pretty old. It's not old, but it's not something recently came out or anything, but it's just about how aliens came aliens came on on Earth and had humans turn against each other, things like that. And to be honest, it was not a great movie, but I'm that type of person who will literally sit down and watch a bad movie and have a good time watching it, because I just point out the stupid things that they could have done in the movie and things like that, and I don't know, I got a hoot out of that. So in case you're a person who likes to watch bad movies but kind of criticize it as you're watching it, then this would be the movie for that. Another one I would suggest you guys could watch as well, another movie, is Passengers. Now, the reason why I would recommend this is because in this movie, it shows two people who are self-isolating. Well, not in the movie, but, self-isolated in the sense of they are in space and they have to just figure things out on this journey to another planet, things like that. It has Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. So, and then if you haven't seen it, I recommend you should watch it. Just to give you ideas on what they did in being the only two people on the spaceship, and what did they do to pass the time, things like that can give you ideas as well. And Quiet Place. I know it's aliens once again. I don't know, having a out of space movie recommendations right now, but just because these kind of take you to, it takes you out of our Earth problems and just into what's going on in space kind of thing. So in case you guys are interested, you can check that out. But Quiet Place is one of them, and I found this very interesting, imagining to be quiet in a situation where you can't talk, because if you are heard by the aliens, they can come and eat you, things like that. But you could just see, it's another movie that's based on survival, things like that. So I mean, if you're interested, you can check that out. So the next suggestion I have here is, when going shopping, pick up extra things. Now, what I meant in that little title there is that when you are shopping for products that you need in your home, especially with the grocery stores, and I believe the pharmacies are open still, that you can, if you have and if you can, this is just to help with the whole self-isolation, is to pick up extra things for your elderly neighbor. It doesn't have to be someone who's living right beside you, but someone on your block, your street, things like that. Check up on them, in not going to them, but bring them some groceries if you can, just because of the situation that is going on Like I said, together we're all in this. So even just being there for the elderly is very important. And you would not imagine what it will do for them. And this is something you can do. It's something that is it's beautiful, it's positive, it's just helping one another out. At the end of the day, think about it. If someone did this for you, you would definitely be happy and grateful. So imagine what you would be doing for them if you did that. So when you're going out and getting some groceries, just pick up an extra thing. It can be a loaf of bread, it can be, cereal, it can be canned goods, things like that they could just have in their home as well, while you went grocery shopping and stuff, knowing that they can't really leave their home. They're at high risk of getting the coronavirus if they were to. So just, keep that in mind when you're going grocery shopping. The next suggestion I got here is journaling. Make sure you use it to reflect on the good. So writing down positive things in your day, or make a positive list that you want to do in your day. This helps motivate you not to give up or give in to the negative feeling. So I really believe this is something to just help bring out the good in the situation, help focus on the good, and more so believe that good is coming. So having that it doesn't have to be like a book journal, but just a piece of paper, writing down this moment, kind of like something to look back on to help motivate you in the future. I believe when you write things down and one day you find it, you can just be like, wow, I hanging on to the good. I made sure to not let the situation get the best of me, and now look where I am. Things like that. It's good to have as a motivator even for the future. So take the time to journal and write things down and reflect, and more so just focus on the good. It makes you really think about the good, okay? Next one I have here is praying. So when praying, you are not taking on the weight or stress that is in the world. You are giving up the situation to God and trusting that because you have Him, you will be okay. So for those of you out there who are religious, praying will help make you feel better during this time, and it also helps bring the hope within, that knowing that better is to come. So just keep that in mind, and praying, I believe, is such a powerful thing. Pray for those who have the corona. Pray for those who are mourning a loss of a loved one from corona. I believe prayer also helps bring peace in the situation that we're facing at this time, and it also uplifts hope that better is coming. So take the time and pray, you guys. It will change your attitude. It will change the atmosphere in your home. So give that a try. Also, the next one I got here is spending time with family. So for those of you who are stuck at home with, anyone who is your, relative or so, take the time to really catch up with one another. Or if you're not with your family and you're living with roommates or friends or whoever you're living with, take that time to really look at one another and say, hey, how's it going? How are things going on with you? Because we've been living in this very fast-paced world that we kind of tend to forget that there's so much happening around us, let alone people are going through things that maybe you can actually help someone out who is at your home with you. Take that time to talk with them, encourage them, and more so, this is healing not for just them but for you, because you can also open up to them, and you'll be surprised the things you find out, saying, oh my goodness, I never knew you were going through this, and so on and so forth. Because this time of self-isolation and being stuck at home is a time where we can really get together and really kind of look at each other and say, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, let's catch up, take it as a catch up time with your family member, what's their likes and dislikes, because people are evolving and changing. So it's like good to now use that time to really say, hey, I haven't really sat down and had a one-on-one talk with you. So let's kind of get together and sit and talk, don't just sit and watch Netflix all day together, but really have a conversation. I think it's good that one-on-one, and more so just that togetherness in the home, and forcing yourself to really just connect and catch up is a beautiful thing during this time. So I encourage you guys to do that. And the next suggestion I have here as well, going with spending time with family and friends, is playing games. I suggest if you want to play some games with people, there are also online games too. So for those who may not have people at home to play games with, you can go online. I've tried Snapchat games and they're fun. I sometimes will play the Snapchat games with the person on the phone with me, so I can hear them and they can hear me, and you can just hear our reaction during the game. So, that's just me though. I know there's online games as well, but if you're not a gamer, there's little tips there of just a simple app to play a little game on with somebody. So I keep that in mind. If you're home and you're, wanting to play games or board games, there's cards, there's puzzles. I saw a YouTube couple the other day playing doing a puzzle together, and I thought that was so fun. I wish I had a puzzle, to be honest. I would definitely try a puzzle because that one is very relaxing. I find puzzles are relaxing kind of things, and you're trying to figure out what piece goes where. So there's that. So the next one I got here, the next suggestion here is try to cook something new and yummy. So take the time to, if you're, now since we're all self-isolating, take the time to cook, and not just cook to say, okay, I had something to eat, but something that you wanted to try, but you didn't have the time nor, you didn't know when to get to it. Now you can do that, you could try to quickly get some of this stuff that you may need to make that special dinner or dessert, and try these new meals and see, if you like them or not. One time for me, like my brother and I made pizza, and that's something I like to do. So it was cool that we could do something with the dough and just test out different recipes and see if it works and things like that. Or for me personally, not just with my brother, but me, like I like to bake. So baking cake and just trying to decorate it and things like that is something that helps me pass the time, and more so it just like gets me out of my head, and more so like focusing on things other than what's going on with the world, just for a temporary moment. Not that we're ignoring it, but it's just to bring peace and sanity. Sometimes we need that, okay, guys? This will also bring some joy and excitement in your day, have you look forward to it, so give that a try. And the next suggestion I got here as well, you guys, is make up a dance. So, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks out there, and I recently made a TikTok. It's called Brit Positive. So in case you want to check it out, you can check it out on TikTok. And, just make up cool dance moves, funny dance moves, or funny skit if you like. Take the time to just be creative and have fun, which is actually going into my next point, be creative. If you're a person who likes creating things, then use this time to create, write a song, make a soundtrack, design, paint. Use this time to, really bring out that imaginative mind that you may have. I believe everyone has an imagination. So definitely use that and just bring out those good ideas, write them down, and, be creative. Use that because it just gets you going. It gets you feeling inspired and hopeful as well. So I suggest you should take a chance on that. Now, use this time to also, bring some positive things in your creativity to create that, because it'll be something worth remembering, knowing that you created something so amazing in a time where it was so hard and so much that was going on, that it's like when sometimes the most beautiful creations come from a very traumatic situation. So, this could be that beautiful creation you have within you that you can just bring out right now. So I believe that is something inspiring and positive to look into. Now, I will be calling some people who are self-isolating themselves right now. So let's see what suggestions or what's going on with them and how are they holding up with this whole thing. All right. So I'm going to be calling my first one, Amber. Let's check her out. Let's see how she's doing.
Hello?
Hey, girl.
Oh, hey. What's up?
Nothing much. I'm here in self-isolation. How are you doing?
Same. Week 2 and I'm almost losing my mind, but we're good.
Oh, gosh. Aren't we all? But, I mean, at the end of the day, we are just trying to be safe and, not spread the germ and, of course, not catch it as well, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. The last thing you want is to kind of endanger anyone else in your family, right?
Exactly. So, I'm here. You're on the podcast.
Woohoo! Finally.
I mean, one day you'll be here in person in the studio, but until then, I was like, I could get her on the phone, right?
Yeah, no, it's all good.
So
I'm a supporter since day one.
Aw, love you, sweets. Okay, so I have a question. Like during this self-isolation and you are in week 2, what are some suggestions, like things that people can try while during this time? Because, I mean, there's so much to do, but also not knowing what to do, especially when we're all just sitting down being alone.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't know. I feel like the first day was kind of just me figuring out my place again, because I've just been so exposed to so many people for so long that my introverted side hasn't been has been caged for a while. So I wasn't really used to my own company for a little bit. So I think the majority of the time coping was like cleaning a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cleaning really did help at first. So it's kind of just like reorganizing everything, kind of like, feng shuiing the room. It's springtime, so it's like really good to like, get
Mm-hmm.
yourself reorganized regardless, like
Mm-hmm.
closet wise and whatever.
Right.
But even when that obviously kind of settled down, it's kind of like I'm left with me and my space, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like um realize that hey, like I have a lot of empty canvases that I haven't worked on in a while. So
Mm-hmm.
like in the meantime, like in between times where obviously if I'm not doing like work
Mm-hmm.
on my laptop, then I'll obviously like take a breather and paint a little bit.
That
I've been
sounds
really into like yeah, like kind of like tapping back into like my old self.
That's nice.
So which
That
is really
sounds
cool.
relaxing, honestly. Like the painting and
No, it's super.
everything. Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh.
kind of weird. Like I get really like relaxed with like the smell of like the paint. It's really weird.
That's not weird.
It's
That's just
really really weird. I don't know
that's
why.
just like
Yeah.
therapeutic for you.
Yeah, a little bit actually. It's like a whole reminder of how I used to be before, working so much.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, reading a little bit here and there. But I feel like the biggest outlet, I guess, would just be like the working out.
Mhm.
I don't even know if I told you before, but I have started working out from the home, and I feel like
Really?
everyone else has. I feel, at least from my Instagram feed, a lot of people have that I've seen have been doing a lot of at home workouts, and
Mhm.
it's just like a little fun thing for you to do for yourself and challenge yourself. So, like right now, I'm like living with my grandmother, right?
Mhm.
So it started with us just kind of doing like 15 to 20-minute workouts with her.
Mhm.
So like it would just start off, like us doing like cutesy little like, dumbbell work or like just weight or like movements, right?
Mhm.
Stretches or whichever.
Mhm.
So we would do that like literally every day for like 15, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And then it kind of progressed into being like, oh, well, why don't I push myself further and kind of just see what else I can do with my body considering,
The whole
there's not really
situation.
much you can do aside from
Yeah.
like running or going on a jog, if anything.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Okay, so you mentioned earlier about painting, and I was mentioning to the listeners here about being creative. Like, take this time to really get out that creative side because, maybe we're
Oh, yeah, totally.
stuck in that routine of doing things all the time, like work, school, things like that, that it's like, when is that time where we got to like sit down and color, So it's interesting
Yeah.
that you were like, hey, I started painting and then working out now. I don't know why, but this reminds me of things like when we were kids, like this time with this whole corona thing. It's like self-isolation. Do you not remember, like, there was a time where we were like stuck at home as children and we found anything to do,
Yeah.
like we built forts and stuff like that. So it's like this is a time where we really need to push ourselves to kind of just like get to that headspace because it was such a freeing, imaginative, happy time. And I'm not saying this is supposed to be
Yeah.
like a happy time because I know serious things are happening, but I'm just like showing the positive side of like, what we can benefit from this as well as humans based on having that time to really like self-reflect and like do things just to get out of our heads sometime because it's been like a
Mm-hmm.
on the race, like go 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 kind of mind for a lot of people, and this is the
Oh,
first time
yeah.
it's like forcing people to stop.
Yeah, it's like kind of like stopping and kind of just being with yourself again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for me, like coming from like I used to work like 3 jobs a lot, like one
Mhm.
or two jobs every now and then if I could handle it. I'd get sick every now and then because I'd like put so much stress on my body.
Mhm.
So like for majority of the time, it's like me like using work as like an outlet of obviously if you find your passion, then good for you. But for most of us who just work to live,
Yeah.
um, um, you kind of like get wrapped up in like that reality that you forget
Mhm.
what it's like to be in your own head and like be more at peace within yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like everything that I'm doing right now is kind of benefiting my own mental health in a sense,
Right.
right?
Because like wouldn't you feel more refreshed like going back to work or school and things like that after having this break? Not so much like vacation, but like taking this really time
Mm-hmm.
to organize your mind basically, right?
Oh yeah, like right now it's kind of just like giving me like it's almost like a reset in a weird way. Like I feel
Mhm.
like right now I'm going through this phase where like I'm really able to compartmentalize like things in my life and just even when it comes to scheduling certain things now it's kind of like okay, what will I do better once like things are wrapped up in society that we can all kind of go out and do our thing again. Like, what do I want to do better to improve whatever I was doing in the past? Like, just being more, I don't know, like why did I feel exhausted, saying no to certain things. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's kind of just reevaluating yourself and kind of just like, staying grounded and being like, okay, so why? What was the problem before? And now that I have time to really reflect on it, what can I really, take out from that?
Right.
That
No,
headspace.
I really like that. And I don't know, it's like this corona thing, it sucks, but it really forces everyone, including yourself and myself, to self-reflect, like you said. And
Mm-hmm.
more so, I think, just to show that at the end of the day, we have no control over this situation. Like, no one really has control, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
the most thing we can control is how we react to a situation and what we do. Because for me
Mm-hmm.
personally, it's like, okay, you can either choose to be the person that's sad and mad and cry over the situation, or be the person and choose a side to, like, not look into that side and say, you know what, I'm going to make the best out of the situation, which I think is not only good for you mentally but physically, and just it helps you have hope. It continues that hope and knowing that better is to come, you know?
Oh no, for sure. And like for example, like I have a lot of friends that aside from like living in houses that have like like with a shit ton of roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my language. Um, I also have friends that are kind of like like really isolated in their own apartments. Like they haven't left. They only maybe have like one pet or whichever
Mm-hmm.
or whomever. Sorry. But I don't know. Like when I was talking to them, like I feel like my biggest tip for anyone who's like listening would just be to like I guess you could say is just to keep your mind busy doing things to not feel as confined.
Yeah.
Because I know there's some people that thrive in, isolating themselves and, like myself who comes from introverted roots.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds weird saying introverted roots, but I generally for the longest time was so good at being alone. It's not even funny.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah. But yeah, for some people like her or him, for example, that aren't comfortable with that don't know what it's like to be by themselves, the best thing for them to do would be to like give a friend a call. If you don't really have anyone that to call,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like the best option for you would be to like, for example, like yourself, like listen to a podcast or
Mm-hmm.
or like you know what I mean, just to
Mm-hmm.
get that type of, to feel part of something, to feel part of like a social interaction of some degree.
No,
Because I know some people don't feel comfortable
like being alone with their thoughts.
yeah, and I know people get like depressed and stuff too. Like I'm not unaware of that too, right?
No, right. But I
And
believe
the best
there's
thing to do is keep
something
your head up.
I believe there's something
Mm.
for everyone out there to kind of get like what they need. Like for those who are introvert, I'm sure they're pretty good with this. Like they'll know what to do in the situation, or maybe not. You never know. And those who are extrovert, I mean, I know something that's been happening. Zoom has been being used a lot now.
Oh yeah, Zoom is insane. Or like for example, a friend of mine just recently asked me to download the House Party app where you can FaceTime multiple friends at once.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's not just like 4 people. I think it's multiples of 4.
Really?
So I don't know. Like I haven't really opened it up yet because I was just like, wow, that's a lot of people.
That's just I know. Like maybe that's your introvert side coming out. Like,
Yeah, I was just like, wow, I like my space again.
But no, but like Zoom has been popping. I noticed on Instagram where it's like on IG, there's like so much Instagram live. And I'm just like, okay, celebrities, like every day I gotta see y'all face. Like, jeez, you know?
I feel like what they're doing though is it's sweet.
It is. It really is. No, I
feel like
they're just like showing that human side. Like they're in this with us. I like that. It is. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, the partial bitter side of it, to myself at least, is like them being normal, and then behind you see like a whole yard of things. You're like, I do not own any of these. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people have like their own home gyms and stuff like that. So like, I feel like you've probably seen the comparisons on Instagram. So I'm just like, I think I remember seeing one of these celebrities. What's it called? I think they posted on their Instagrams. On like their story being like, oh, we can't go to a restaurant, so we'll just and it's like one of their kids being cute, like making stuff for their family and then
so
bringing
cute.
it to their parents,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And then this kid comes in with like a what's it called? I don't know. Like it's just like very like rich people thing.
Oh, really?
Like, wow. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's nice. Like, yeah, we get it. But also like privilege is still showing.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing: when I look at if like hearing that, I see that as okay, fine, that's their life. But there was a time where a kid was just happy with a box. Okay, they could do anything with a box. That box can be a castle. That box can be a car. Like, you know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter on like how much things you may have, because like even during this time of the corona, it's like when you look at it, you can have all these things and yet the corona can still get somebody. Actually, I saw in the news recently, Prince Charles has coronavirus.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know what I mean? So regardless of like this corona doesn't pick who's like rich or poor, black, white, Asian, Indian, what there, any race. And then and like it doesn't choose specifically who to get. It just gets people. And like that kind of just humanized everyone to say, hey, like we're all the same and this can get any of us. And it just kind of grounds us to like, you know, not think or compare who has what. Because like at this point, I should say, none of that matters right now, you know? Like even in their big house with the many things, it's like if they were to get it, God forbid, it's like they would leave all those things behind. They're not taking that with
100%.
them. You know?
And I feel like the bigger picture is definitely just the idea of spending time with the people that you do love,
exactly.
Right? And like obviously, like I'm not blind to seeing that when you see like stuff like that, but for the most part, it's like poking fun at yourself, being like, wow, you know, you can't.
No,
can't relate.
no.
But,
for some people they can't, and that's real talk. But at the same time, it's like I believe even during this time with the whole corona, it's like reflecting on that doesn't matter either. Because when you hear someone get it, you're like, that's the last thing is, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to their Lamborghini? Like, you're going to be like, no, I hope they get through it, you know?
100%. And I feel like the most important thing right now for everyone to like, you know, I mean, if family's not really that big to you, then really rely on your friends as well, right? But for the most part, it's kind of just like, at least for me, like I'm taking it as a really big family step. You know what I mean? Like getting close and like whatchamacallit, hanging out with your family again, like being with your family again, and just really appreciating who you have in your life that you've never really, you know, taken time out of your day to always like converse with because you know you're so busy with work or like you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like majority of the time people kind of take that for granted, and now where we're at now with the coronavirus and just all these panics and anxieties that are kind of going around in this world, we can just kind of be more at peace with the idea of at least we have family with us and,
or
you know,
friends
people that love us and all that.
And I know like churches as well have been like doing online things as well. So, you know, it's good. Like I see community definitely building through the web, which is really great because I feel like that's people still reaching out for one another, letting each other know you're not alone in this and we're all in this together. But thank you, girl, for coming on. I appreciate it, and I hope for you to come in real life eventually after this whole thing goes away.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I'll be there.
So take care and have fun, and we'll talk again.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye. Okay. So that was really nice to hear from my girl, Amber. So now we're going to check out my other friend here. You guys have heard from her before. She was on the podcast. If you want to check out a podcast that we did together, it's How to Stop Negative Thinking. Let's check out Alona and see how self-isolation is going.
Hello.
Hey, Alona. It's me, Brittany.
Oh. Hey, Brittany. How are you?
I'm good. You're on with the podcast, Brit Positive Podcast. How's self-isolation going?
Actually, it's not. We're taking one day at a time. We're taking one day at a time, literally.
Like literally, you have your kids at home with you and everything, so I can understand that's a bit different from other friends I've called.
Oh yeah. I have my three boys. So so it's. I guess they kind of, in the beginning, it was a little difficult because they're very active and they do sports and all that kind of stuff, and they were getting very bored.
Oh no!
So yeah, but now we kind of like trying to figure things to do in the day that make the day not as long.
That's good because so I'm calling because of this whole corona thing, and I can't get any of my special guest co-hosts to come on the show.
Of course, yeah.
You know, out of safety reasons, of course, and just hoping everyone just stays home. But I was thinking while, you know, doing this, I was hoping to just get us all together through this way of doing the podcast, just to give each other support during this time because, you know, a lot of us are in this together. So, you know, why not look for the positive in it? And so I was wondering if you have any suggestions on like what they can do while self-isolation. Like what are one or two things that maybe you've tried that you're like, hey, I really do this and it helps me get through the day a couple of times, you know, just so that the audience can maybe try it just to get through this time while we're all self-isolating.
Yeah, but one of the things that I do personally, I try to get up a little earlier and actually go for a walk before the day gets going. I find that just
helps me to focus and just to get ready, physically, mentally, emotionally, just spend time walking and just enjoying
That's
the
good.
fresh air,
Mm-hmm.
before my kids are up and I have to start going. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. So maybe trying going for a walk is a good one. I like that. Keep that physical active body going, cuz like I know a friend of mine earlier was saying like she exercises at home, so with her grandmother, and it's just people need that, like that they need that movement in their body, and this corona thing is keeping us from moving too much. So, it's a good
Yeah.
thing to try.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you may be doing, like
Yeah.
cooking?
Yeah, like when I'm always cooking because I have I'm a mom of three boys,
Right.
so I'm actually cooking more. But actually, what's actually interesting is that because the kids are home, I find that we're all getting involved in the work. So
Mhm.
instead of me doing all the cooking, like my like I, we actually share the chores much more now. So that's a positive from Corona.
Oh, nice.
Because they're around, and I said, okay, no, I'm not gonna make all the meals. Like you guys make this meal, and everybody has like a specific thing to do in the day. So even for dinner, like I'm like, okay, we're all gonna learn. But they're gonna learn now how to,
Mhm.
how to make a specific dish,
That's nice.
stuff like that.
That's nice. So, hospitality is getting stronger in the home.
Yes, exactly. Preparing them for real life, right?
Right? Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
And my last question for you, my dear, is what out of this whole corona experience, what is something you've learned in it? Because I know during this time it's forcing people to stay self-isolated and more so like thinking about, what's going on with the world and kind of a lot of self-reflection, I believe. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe what is one thing you want to share with everybody about like what is something that you learned during this times, and maybe they can even take the time and examine that if they feel that.
Yeah. I think for me the biggest thing is that which probably we already know, but I think we like now we know for sure. It's like we all think that we have so much control, right? We plan
Mhm.
our week, we plan our month, we plan our year,
Mhm.
and then this thing happened and everything just was on standstill,
Mhm.
right? And for me, well, personally, I'm a Christian,
Mhm.
so I just I love that verse, like be still and know, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And know. And I just love the fact that we all had to just stop and just take stock of our lives,
Mhm.
like the whole busyness. Like my boys play sports, so it
Mhm.
would be like go 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 go, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And we had to just stop and really see what's important,
Mhm.
like because before, like, we couldn't even do, like, sometimes we tried to do family devotion, but then
Mhm.
everybody was kind of like all over, everybody's schedule is so scattered, right?
Right, that you hardly had time to
But
do it.
we
Yeah.
hardly had any time. Now we can just sit down as a family and just really and get to know each other better and just
Mhm.
spend time in God's word, spend time praying.
Mhm.
And even my family abroad, we same thing. Like, and then now we can all be like on Zoom or Skype and just really connect at a deeper level. So I
Mhm.
think for me that's a positive
Mhm.
in the corona, just able to slow down and just to
Mhm.
be present with your
Mhm.
family, with your loved ones.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I really
I
that
received
yeah.
that because I was just telling my friend before calling you that I was like, we
Mhm.
are living a fast paced kind of life, and that this really
Mhm.
helped stopped us from doing that. Like, it forced people to just stop and really take in that moment, take in your life for a second and really reflect like what's going on, what have you been doing, and like how do we move forward from this, and more so like
Yeah.
our attitude towards things, right?
And even I find, like, even too, like, with because it is scary, like when you look at it, see everybody's dying,
Yes, that is.
so
Yeah.
it's very scary, right? So then
Mhm.
it gives you, I find, like, for me, I'm talking as a Christian,
Mhm.
it helps me to think, okay, I believe um, like, I have faith, but is my faith based on only when things are good, or even when things
Mhm.
are like this? I can still look around and see what is true, what is faith? Is faith only when just seeing,
Mhm.
or is faith believing?
Mhm.
Even though everything looks so crazy, I can still have faith in God,
Right, right.
right? So it was really a time to reflect and just yeah, and just remember yeah, what's important,
Right.
and who I am. Yeah.
Right. That's beautiful. I really like that. Well, thank you for sharing. I hope you have a wonderful day in isolation.
Isolation. Thanks, Brittany. It was a pleasure talking to you, and all the best to you and your family, and the rest of the guests out there.
Oh, thank you. And I wish you the same, guys. Stay safe, wash your hands, and just stay
Yes.
inside. I mean, you can go for
Exactly.
your walk. You go for your walk, but of course, like, get back inside.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Take
Alrighty.
care.
Okay, keep on. Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness, it was so nice to hear from her. Okay, so now my next guest co-host that I am planning to call here is my girl Ameza. She's actually the last person who I saw, like the last friend I should say that came on the show, and did the show with me. Because then soon after that, this whole like self-isolation thing happened. So I wonder how things are going on her end. So let's check her out.
Yo.
Hello, Ameza. Welcome to Brit Positive Podcast Show.
Oh, wow. That was a quick introduction. I'm here. Welcome. Or rather, welcome to me, too.
How are you, girl?
I'm good. How are you during this Corona time period?
You already know it's an interesting experience. I will say that.
You're right about that.
How are you? Because I was just telling the listeners here that you were like the last person that I saw in person before we all became self-isolated, not knowing that would have been the last time I saw you.
It feels like it's been some time, even though it was only
a week ago?
A week or two ago, maybe.
About a week ago.
Yeah, it feels like we've been in isolation for some time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And so like I've been calling different people, my good friends, special guest co-hosts today, and you're one of them. So you know, I couldn't have done this without you, knowing that last time you were on the show, and now it's like there's no contact anymore with anybody, and it's just crazy. And so I just wanted to know, how are things on your end? How's self-isolation been treating you?
I mean, self-isolation is not, to be honest, for me, it's not bad. It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some days where it's kind of thinking, I'm just like, dang, what am I going to do today? Like, what I did yesterday, I can't do today. Like, you know? But then again, for me as well, I'm like an introvert person, or introverted person. So, staying at home, you know, chilling, not having to go out sometimes, I don't mind that.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm the same way. Like, it's crazy, but it's like I've been enjoying this. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say enjoying like it's been a party, but you know what I mean. Like, I've been okay just being at home, knowing that like this is to help not spread the germ or catch the germ, and of course just like being to myself, taking this time to reflect and learn and read and, you know, just relax a bit. So I have been enjoying that side of it. The bad side of it is the news and just hearing the horrible things that are going on. Like, I really hope people get through this, and those who have the corona, you know, I really wish them well and hope that doesn't take their life, because, you know, it's a lot of death and stuff that personally it affects me, where I feel really bad, where like people are really dying from this. So it is a serious thing to take seriously, and, you know, to move forth, you know, that's all bad. But I am trying to look for the positive in this, and if you're a person at home right now, like, what are the positive things you can do to kind of help keep you busy? So I was wondering, do you have any suggestions for the audience here?
I would say, I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, with me, like, I don't mind the staying at home aspects. I know before a lot of places had closed down because of this. I was originally still working for a little bit, and then once like some places had to close down, I came back home, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? You know, how long is this gonna be? I was like, okay, let me use this time and see what I can do at home. I was able to like organize my room a little bit, clean up, help cook sometimes a bit more than before, as well as what was I doing? I mean, they've been airing the Raptors championship run, and I've really been doing that. Like, I mean, people who are listening out there, I'm a big, especially right now, a very big Raptors fan.
Wait, were you one before the championship or after?
No comment. I mean, no, before they won, I was a Raptors fan, but then again, if someone were to go on my Twitter, you know, in the past they might see, you know, I was kind of a Warriors fan too. So, you know, it's been mixed up sometimes. But officially now I am, maybe a little bit before too, I am a very big Raptors fan, and I always like to support my country. So I will say I have been really enjoying the fact that they're airing all their games because since the season is pretty much over,
Yeah.
they've been airing their playoff run games every night, and I've really been liking those.
Okay, so some people can watch rerun sports. That's an idea. So you've been watching sports. That's interesting. I didn't even know that because I didn't know they were airing that. So actually cool. So if people who want to see a basketball game, they can rewatch some of the games that they're airing out there. So that's cool. What else have you been up to? I mean, you know what, you mentioned also earlier about cleaning and organizing, and that's a common thing I'm getting from my special guest co-hosts of you guys cleaning and organizing. But I think that's such an important thing. I think cleaning and organizing can just kind of help people not only organize their home but organize their thoughts, their mind, and reflect. And like it's that time to really like keep yourself busy, but also you're not too much in your head, and it's a way of clearing not only your space but clearing your mind.
Like revamping everything too.
Exactly, right.
Which is not bad.
Okay, so
you might not be able to go out and like I can't go to IKEA and get myself a desk right now, but
oh my gosh, no.
What I have,
Okay, so sorry you can't go to IKEA for your desk, but is there anything else you've been doing to keep yourself busy and something positive to uplift your spirit?
I would say, a big one that I've been doing a lot is Netflixing, especially new shows that I haven't watched before, and then now I can because of all the time I have. So I've been watching and finding new shows. I've been binge watching episodes of new shows and finding they're really good, as well as watching a bit more movies. Even if it's not Netflix, I also watch movies like from other cultures. Like I'll watch sometimes Nigerian movies here and there too. So I'm finding I have a lot more time to watch a lot of content, which I really like and enjoy.
Well, so what is one of the Netflix shows that you think people would enjoy?
Well, one I would say.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
Right? I have to be. Drum roll, please. Queen Sono. That show. I might have to get teary-eyed.
Oh my goodness.
I liked it that much. And it took me a while to get into the show because I don't know. I think I was unsure about it at first. Like I thought it was gonna be a different kind of show. When I tuned in, I was like, hold up, I'm kind of hooked. And to describe the show, it's kind of like, I guess, to put it simply, if Black Panther were a girl.
Okay.
And takes place in Africa. Yeah. And what else? Kind of like a spy aspect, kind of detective little aspect as well, Secret Service kind of thing. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. But to me, I really like the show. And I'm kind of sad that's over because, it hasn't. I haven't heard anything about it getting renewed yet. Again, it's still early.
This girl's like letting out her feelings.
Right, like that happens with a lot of shows that I tune into. Like I like it so much, and then I'll be waiting for another season, and then it either doesn't get renewed or it'll take forever to get renewed. Or it just doesn't get renewed. Like, you don't hear nothing about it. I'm just like, what's the tea? Another show, now that I think about it, another show I'm watching on Netflix, too, that, I guess it wasn't necessarily a Netflix original, like Queen Sono was, but this other show is actually a Nigerian show that I'm thinking of called Sons of the Caliphate. I wonder if I'm pronouncing that correct, but Sons of the Caliphate. And I discovered that on Netflix, too, and I really enjoyed it, but I remember, I believe they have 2 seasons on there, but they never made a third yet. And I don't think they are because all the actors, pretty much, from what I've seen in the show, are all doing like different things right now. So for them to get season 3, it's sounding unlikely right now. But if they do, I'd be a happy camper.
You're depending on these shows to come through for you during these times.
I need them to get renewed. Pronto.
Like today.
Right? Not even today, yesterday.
Okay, so other than Netflix, your obsession with some of the shows there, and cleaning and basketball games. I do recall the other night or so you texted me how you went to Costco, and I just think this is a funny story. You went to Costco, and you were like, there's a lineup and things like that. I'm like, why are you outside? Like, in my mind, and I was like, what is she doing outside? And you're just like, I want to make was it quesadillas?
Oh yeah, okay. So with this whole, having to be at home thing, and they tell everybody stay inside, but only go outside if you have to, like to get groceries and things. So, with the time being at home a bit more now, I find like sometimes wanting to cook more, or cook new recipes or old recipes, or just trying new things really in terms of cooking. So it's something I saw online on Twitter. It was a TikTok actually, but I saw it on Twitter, and the guy was making chicken quesadillas, and one thing he did differently was he used rotisserie chicken. And usually when I make my quesadillas, I just I get like the actual like chicken breast slices, and then like the frozen ones, I guess, and then I
and you have to like cook it from scratch.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll put it straight in the quesadilla, or rather I'll cook the chicken breast first, and then I'll add it to the quesadilla as I'm cooking it. But I find every time I make it, it'll taste good, but not the way I want it to. But when I saw the TikTok, I saw the guy was using rotisserie chicken, and then I was like, oh, maybe that's what some people use sometimes. Like I never knew. So I was like, okay, a place I know that sells rotisserie chicken is Costco. So, and sometimes we get it from there, right? Like it's pretty good to use for many, many things. So I was like, okay, just go to Costco, get it, and get out. So I went, and mind you, I thought like, because it's like it's a week of doing this stuff now, right? I thought, go in, won't be that many people. I get there, and I remember, what was it? My mom telling me, because she went to Costco the other day too. She was telling me something about how like they changed the store where everybody has to go in a different way. So I was anticipating that, but also not at the same time. So when I got there, I saw like what you said. Everybody has to go in a different way to the back. So I was thinking, okay, no worries. I go, and I'm seeing like bare people with their shopping carts, and I'm like, okay, this is normal, kinda. And then I go down a bit more. I'm like, hold up, why am I seeing like a whole line of people?
Oh my!
Wait a minute, and it's like not just one straight line, but like similar to, how do I describe it? When you're at the airport, and like the lines are kind of folded, like you go in one way and then you have to go around,
yeah.
Like a zigzag kind of.
Oh my goodness.
Like
but you know why? You know why too? Because like I'm here, I haven't really left my house for a while, but I'm assuming because school's canceled, like there's no more school for the year, so everyone's like a lot of people are home, so of course everybody might be having a little bit of the craving for quesadilla, and so not just you, but like you, not just you, but everybody out there trying to get something, and then also they're trying to, I believe the lineup is to help social distancing, based off of like not having too much people inside the building. But oh my gosh, like I don't know what's really going on. Like we know what's going on, but it's like we don't know what's going on further looking forth into the future. All we know is what we can do now and things like that, No,
you're right. I think that is why they, like Costco had that implemented, because even when I got in the store finally, which even with that line, it didn't take, like I wasn't outside for, I want to say maybe 10-ish minutes. I want to say it wasn't that bad, but as I was getting like closer to the front of the store, I remember seeing literal signs where it would say like social distancing, like keep your distance. You should be this many feet between the next person. I was like, oh wow, they're taking it seriously, And even with the line outside looking like kind of long, when you get in the store, it's like you don't really see that many people. Like people are there, but it's like no one's close to each other. Like people are scattered in different areas. So, like it wasn't busy inside the store compared to say outside. So I guess they're like, they're keeping, like they're managing it inside as well as outside. So,
I mean, I went to.
It was smart.
It is, but I went to Shoppers last week, and I even saw where they had like stickers, not stickers, but tape on the floor, like like where you can
Yeah.
stand. And my dad and I went together because I had to go get medicine. And I was just like, oh, Dad, look, like you could stand there and I stand there. So it's like letting people know how far you're supposed to be. I thought that was really clever just because it's like some people, I don't know, some people might not know what 3 feet apart is. And so it's like that tape there, like, hey, just step on that so we know we're not too close, things like that. I thought that was really smart. So I could see where there's a lot of social distancing in stores now, and now stores are closed too, actually. Like only supermarkets and like pharmacies, I believe, are open really. But there's just so much going on, and this whole self-isolate, I was about to say self-distancing, but self-isolation and things like that. And like, I mean, hey, we're all in this together though at the end of the day. This is why I'm not just calling, you and other people. I'm calling other people because it's like reaching out, getting tips and ideas and suggestions here from you guys is just to kind of let people know I can't do this all on my own, and I don't know everything, and like I can learn something from you guys on what you're doing, because now guess what, I feel like making quesadillas, so you never know.
I inspired a nation.
You inspired a nation right now, because like quesadillas are amazing.
It really was a TikTok that did it though.
The TikTok. Okay, well, shout out to the person with the TikTok with the quesadilla, because I make it, my quesadillas different, but I'm now craving quesadilla. Thank you for that. So
No worries. I'll mail you one.
Oh dear God, that's gonna be spoiled. It's gonna be spoiled by the time it reached me.
It will not be good.
But it's good. That's an idea for the listeners here, because they can create things. I actually had a suggestion, like this is a time you can be creative and like make food and like try things you never tried before, things like that.
Exactly.
Because now it's kind of like we kind of have the time to do it, so do it, make use of it. I was also speaking with one of a special guest co-host before, where I was saying this kind of reminds me of a time where it's like we were home as children before, and like we found anything to do, like when you're home bored, and like as a kid, like I wasn't that kid that was bored. I found things to do, things to like just run down the stairs, like you get your mattress, not that I did this, but I saw this like on Instagram. You get your mattress and like go down the stairs with it. Not that I'm saying people need to be that crazy, but like, you can find anything to do at home. Just use your imagination, be creative. And of course, now if you're not a kid, you shouldn't be doing all that. But you can also just be like cooking. I believe cooking was a fun thing. I like baking, so I'm gonna try baking things I've never baked before. See how it turns out. Get my culinary skills in.
This is the best time to do it.
Right? And but also by doing this, by getting you and other guest co-hosts on the line with me, or is just to kind of say we're all in this together, like I said before, and more so just to be there to support each other and know that I'm here for you, and I'm here for others I've spoken. Like we gotta just like reach out. It's such a beautiful thing to do that. It's another positive thing, I believe, when you reach out to one another and just that support. Because like recently too, I'm usually on Twitter tweeting, and just simply like encouraging people, and I see encouraging tweets, and I'll be like, hey, keep it up, because we need that. And more so, I don't want it to stop like ever. I think in the encouragement for each other is such a strong, powerful thing. And so, me just tweeting a bit, just like encouraging people. And these are people I do not know. And, these are just people I see their tweets and I'm like, this is so beautiful and encouraging. Keep it up. And they respond back and they're just like, thank you. And things like that. Just reach out to one another. We're all in this together. We're all humans. We're all maybe facing things. And that little encouragement, you never know what can do in somebody's day. So even calling each other, a lot of people are using Zoom. I see celebrities on Instagram Live. I think it's beautiful in that is just grounding us to just kind of believe, like just to say one-on-one, like, hey, I'm here, you're here, we're together, we're here for each other.
We're united.
Yeah, like we need to unite during these times, because if we all spread apart, no one's gonna make out of this well. But if we come together, there's something beautiful and how strong we are when we do that. So, me calling my special guest co-host is not just for the show, but definitely to check on you guys and make sure y'all are good. And I wish you guys the best and stay safe. And girl, we'll talk again.
Definitely.
We will talk again, girl.
Oh, no worries. You stay safe too.
And wash your hands. And,
Always.
I don't know if did you see any toilet paper left at Costco?
Oh, the funny thing is, so out of Lysol wipes,
Oh my gosh.
toilet paper, everything else. Like, wow, it's serious out here. They were not playing.
Oh my goodness, they were not. Well, take care, girl. We'll talk again.
Oh, we shall.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Stay safe as well. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was my girl Meza there, and we just heard a bit of her situation on how she's dealing with self-isolation. And with all that said, all the positive tips, and of course, just going back to what I said earlier, we got to check on each other, you guys, and be there for each other. You know, message each other, text each other, Zoom with each other, Instagram Live if you want to connect with all your followers on Instagram. Just be there for one another, because together we can get through anything, okay? Now, if you like what you heard, click that like button and subscribe button as well for more podcasts. Thank you guys for listening in on this podcast. And remember to follow us on social media platforms that are in the links down below. And you can listen to this podcast on Podbean and YouTube. We will be posting every Tuesday, but this week we're posting on a Thursday. But we will be posting every Tuesday, so let's continue to spread the positivity together, guys. Thanks again. Bye.